stopped the little intro thingy, and I've started streaming again. So I just want to take a few moments and make sure that folks can see me, that chat can confirm I'm live. Until then, I'll enjoy a little bit of coffee. Yeah, there's usually a little bit of lag in between when I'm broadcasting when people actually see it. So there's always a little bit of a pause. Cool. Before I start. So yeah, hi. I'm Joshua. For those of you who don't know, and I'm going to pull up my cheat sheet. Today is January 8th, 2017, and today I'm working on my video game Delver. And for those of you who don't know, Delver is a procedurally generated dungeon crawler with RPG and roguelike elements. It also has a bit of a kind of a retro look because that's the look I like. Delver is a passion project. There are two of us working on it. We've been working on it for 4 years, trying to get this darn thing wrapped up sometime this year. And what you're watching right now is my regular weekly development stream. I had to bump it up a little bit this morning. I have there's some kid activities we have to go do here at noon, so I pushed it forward a little bit. Sorry for the not letting you guys know sooner. But let me see. So this is Delver, and kind of what I do every week is I go to the source code and I just do a kind of review of what went on last week, just to let you guys know what happened off stream. So copying this from a cheat sheet. I'm just doing a git log, one line since 1 week ago, with some pretty printing to make things a little bit more easier to digest. And it looks like, so yeah, so it looks like my durability changes got pushed in, which is really cool. Last stream we also added the slow effect with snowflake particles, which is really cool. And then the big thing, if you follow either Chad or myself on Twitter, you'll notice that we are in fact for this coming update working on Steam Workshop support. Yeah, that's going actually pretty well. We have, I'm not sure if folks can actually see it, but we have an example mod already out there on the workshop, and that's what we're using to test and make sure that things are working from our end, so that you can submit and download and do all that stuff. It's called a round trip, um, which would represent somebody submitting content to the Steam Workshop, somebody else downloading and playing it, and we have an example mod to test that. So hopefully this next update, folks will actually start to be able to make mods. Hey, Michael. Thanks for stopping by. Another exciting thing that you don't see here in this list of um, changes is, in fact, I started a new feature branch called Languages Support, and I'm sure you can guess what that one's about. Um, so these two are the interesting ones here. So I'm working on also adding support for UTF-8 encoding, which is an effort to have. I'm trying to get it so that people can make mods that add language support. So if you love Delver and English isn't your native language, I'd love to hear from you. Um, I do have a good buddy of mine who lives up here in Seattle with me, and he's a native French speaker. So I'm going to work closely with him to make sure all the wrinkles are ironed out. But hopefully, um, by next update, folks can make language packs if they're so interested. So if you are interested, go ahead and drop me an email, joshua.skelton@gmail.com. And I'd love to have a conversation with different folks about supporting their language in Delver. Dr. Kegel says, hi, I sound like I have a cold. Yeah, yep, I do. I'm a little under the weather. Yeah, my kid is also sick, which makes life hard. Um, yeah, so if also if you follow me on Twitter, I've been trying to do something creative every day, and this week ended up being 6 out of 7, which isn't bad. Last night it just um, so yesterday was my birthday, which was exciting. So I spent some time out with friends and family, or friends, and when we came home that evening, my son got sick, so kind of killed my productivity for that day. But priorities. You gotta take care of that little guy. Um, let me see. And what am I going to work on today? The language stuff isn't super sexy. I was thinking I was going to make it, I'm kind of playing around with making an example mod also. I'll show you I'm doing some pixel art for it and see what you folks think. Um, if you remember, I thought it was always cool, some of the old RPGs like Warhammer Quest. Um, they always had these expansions that you could buy that would add new characters. And I'm kind of toying with the idea for Delver, but they wouldn't be playable characters. They would be characters that have gone into the dungeon before you and have perished, and you can find their gear and little bits of their story. And I think that'd be a kind of a cool way to add content. If you guys think it's a cool idea, let me know. If you think it's a terrible idea, let me know. Oh yeah, thank you, Eldridge, for the belated birthday wishes. Yeah, I had a good birthday, up until my son got sick, but other than that, it was good. And Kirby says I could actually try translating that stuff into an. I don't know if we were really gonna have official translations, but I just want to make it such that if people want to make a language pack, they can, and uh, I think that would really go a long ways. Because I would love to see Delver in multiple languages, but since we're two people making this game and we have thousands of players, um, I don't think we can support all the languages that people would want. And you guys are just much smarter than us at it, anyways. So I'm trying to get the tools into your hands, and you can do that, which would be cool. So I'm just gonna noodle on this art a little bit. It's probably gonna be a pretty chill stream today. Um, I was going to kind of talk about my thoughts for this character pack for Delver. Um, it's just an idea I've been kicking around. It may or may not work, but I'm trying to make something interesting within the constraints of our engine, without having to do a whole lot of custom work to make this happen. Let me. I'm not doing any programming today, so let me update my info. At least I don't plan on doing any programming. If you guys really desire for me to do programming, please let me know. But today is probably going to be a pixel art heavy um, stream. So I want to kind of maybe imply some sort of curvature here. I'm just noodling. I'm just trying to find designs and things I think look interesting. I think Kirby, if you provide an intentionally bad translation, you might find that folks uh, will downvote your mod. Um, I can't tell you what mod content to make, So if it's good, if it makes you happy, do it. Uh, your mod is your own thing. Here, I'm just trying to make it look like this is like instead of being just a one long stick, maybe have it look like it's something's wrapping around it, like a twisted kind of thing. We'll see. Toggle on this layer on and off. Flying Fish 45 says, wait, I showed up late. What's this about being able to do translations? Yeah, so for this coming update, we are adding Steam Workshop support so people can make mods for Delver. And to that end, I'm also going through Delver and making sure that um, it is possible for us to support languages beyond English. Um, so right now, I have some basic UTF-8 support. Um, and it should, actually, I have a pretty decent UTF-8 support, to be honest. And I'm going to try to work with, I'm going to work with a friend up here to make a French language pack or a mod, just to get all the stuff ironed out. And then if folks are so interested, they can make mods that translate Delver into other languages. Because I think it would be cool to play Delver in a language of your choosing. Yeah, thank you, Flying Fish. Yeah. I mean, I guess my ulterior motive too is I think it probably will help with sales a little bit, but you know, I'm just excited to you know, have people playing it in their native language. Pretty cool. I can't even tell if that reads well or not now. Now I think it just looks like a big mess. Is that better or worse? Pop open a new window here in Photoshop. Oh, let's pull this out. Maybe keep it 4x zoom, just to give me an idea kind of how things look zoomed out. Yeah, I don't think that's working the way I think it was going to work. Oh well, try something different. Hey, Doofus Digital, thank you for stopping by. Today is just going to be me doing some art and talking about some of the upcoming stuff. Should be pretty relaxing thread today. Hey, Seahawk Blue, thanks for dropping by. No worries, you haven't really missed out on much. I just do my little update about the past week's work, and then now I'm just working on some pixel art. Cool. This might not be working either. So Flying Fish is asking for a window for the next update. Yeah, so I'm scheduling the next update, hopefully to land in March. Um, and I'm hoping we can make that happen because I've intentionally tried to keep the features we're adding relatively small. I mean, Steam Workshop support is like it's an important feature, but I don't think it's going to be a terrible amount of work. And the fact that Chad already has an example mod already up in our workshop uh, is um, is a good sign. The challenge right now is um, Steam doesn't have a built-in way for mod creators to support content. So we actually have to create a tool for you folks to submit content to the Delver Workshop, which is a little strange, but we'll make it happen. Yeah, that's not. This is not the worst, I suppose. I don't think that AA is working actually. Um, okay. So it says I'm drawing stuff on PC. You boss, me on paper, not so good yet. Yeah, no. Art is just practice. It's just doing it over and over again. Um, and I use a tablet, so basically it is like drawing with a pencil for me, which is nice. To me, that feels a little bit more natural than trying to make art with a mouse. Um, maybe tighten this up a little bit so the highlight is not so broad. Retro Nuva 10, hey, how are you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Mm. Yeah, that isn't doing exactly what I want it to do either. Yeah, so this is so it's some wizard equipment. My thinking here is um, I'm making a mod since we're working on making mod support. And this let me see if I can pull up an example of it. Quest character. Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah. So Warhammer Quest expansion packs images. I guess it's not a. I can't find a super great image of it, but Warhammer Quest was very much so like Hero Quest, and what was cool is like you could buy these expansion packs that basically added a new character for you to play as. So this is like the Wood Elf War Dancer, and then this is like some sort of like Imperial like swordsman, and this is a different I think magic user, which I thought was always a really kind of cool idea. Because back into the day, like board games, you didn't really get changes like that. I thought that was really kind of cool. So here, what I'm trying to do with this mod is I'm adding. not a playable character, but a character that has gone into the dungeon and died. And I'm adding all of his gear and bits of his story so you can find it and kind of maybe suss out what happened to him. And hopefully that's a way of adding some interesting detail and some interesting items to Delver. So my thinking here is this is a gray wizard. So kind of think like if you're familiar with Warhammer, kind of like a Warhammer Grey Wizard, kind of like Radagast the Grey, if you're familiar with Tolkien. Um, and in Delver, we do talk about there being some sort of like some mage academy. So I'm kind of thinking maybe he is um, maybe some representative of the mage academy or somebody the mage academy thought was expendable. Yeah, so I might add a few notes, but I'm trying to do it mostly through finding gear, kind of like how Dark Souls does stuff. But yeah, I can definitely add notes as well as part of the mod. Oh, let me let me just for reference grab a sword. A lot of times when I do new stuff like this, I will um, start with an existing item, but just its outline, and then try to find a cool shape for it to have. So this is just going to be me playing with the silhouette of this item, trying to find a shape that looks cool. So I'll just be adding and removing pixels here and there to try to find a nice shape. And it's handy to have the second window open too, so I can not get too focused in on the small details too early. Hey, Sutin22, thank you for stopping by. I am making art today. So if that's what you're into, you're in luck. Okay, what's with this guy right here? Should be something like that. I'm not using any particular color palette. I think all told, Delver has maybe 120 some odd colors. Most items only have between 8 and 16 colors, really. I try to keep the amount of colors used on each item pretty restrictive, but I'm not too restrictive of the overall palette. That's why I do pop into like I'll open up items or I'll open um, I can't see it now. Where is it? EMI. Like I'll open up items, this item sheet here, and I'll color pick from it so that I do stay consistent. So I'm not always reinventing new colors of blue and stuff. Um, yeah, no real strict palette. It's just something that over the course of the last 3-4 years I've just developed. Sure, True Shadows. Yeah, no, this is right now. This is just me playing around with shape and form, trying to find something I like, and I will definitely make it symmetric once I have one half that I think looks good. So it's just gonna be a lot of me pushing pixels and squinting. So apologies for that up front. So I'm kind of thinking this is going to be like maybe when the mages graduate from the academy, They're given a sword, um, and I'm going to try to make this like an old academy sword, so it's going to be like kind of worn. It still should look fairly functional. Um, so I always liked how, in especially in Warhammer, that wizards had swords. It wasn't that it was forbidden; it's just they weren't great with them, but they still had them. So thinking something like that for this, where it's it's part of his gear. It's not the best sword, but it works in a pinch. Maker Image is just holy Marcel. This thing is still being worked on. Yeah, no, we've been working on it uh, pretty consistently. For like I said, this is another little thing. So I stream every Sunday development. I've actually done every Sunday since July of last year. If you're interested, you can go to my YouTube page. There should be a link down below, and I've archived all the past streams, both the regular Sunday stream, but also sometimes I do bonus streams, and those are also out there as well, in case you want to catch up on what I've been working on. Yeah, retro Nova. I don't mind showing off stuff. Yeah, I think Codrake sent me some stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't mind showing it off. I was probably going to spend maybe the last 15 minutes of the stream today, kind of showing off the mod and talking through stuff. So if you have stuff to send me, go ahead and send it to me. Maker Images says, yeah, when I saw an update, rounded walls have just become a thing. Yes, we have sloped floors and angled walls, and we haven't updated the tick source thread in a very long time. And that's just it's not that I don't like TIG source, it's just like I'm so busy these days that I really just try to focus on keeping basically the Steam forums up to date. That's where I put all my energy. Um, because I can't maintain, like multiple different sources of information. It's just a lot of work for just we're just a couple of guys, so a couple folks. So it's a lot of work to try to maintain like a Reddit page and a TIG source page and a Steam forum page and all that stuff. So I just prefer Steam forums. I also created a Facebook page if folks are interested. It should be the Delver Game Official. Let me pull that up. And that's mostly for you folks. So if you have cool fan art, I'll probably start once we start getting mod support. I'll probably post about mods over there, just to highlight the stuff that folks are doing. It's just a little thing I started mostly because um, the most popular Facebook page for Delver was an old Polish one that was selling, I think, illegal copies. So I decided I'll just go ahead and put up a page so people can actually find it if they want it, because it a lot of folks use Facebook, and whenever I show at or whenever I demo Delver at shows, people always ask me about Facebook. So I figure it's a good thing to have, even though I'm not like super into Facebook. Uh, I understand its utility. And it's not a ceremonial sword per se. Because when I think of ceremonial swords, I think of swords that just aren't actually functional. So I'm thinking this one actually is functional. Um, yeah, we'll see. Um, I think it's kind of a cool shape. Let me grab my old lasso tool. How about polygonal lasso, and let's Control J to duplicate. Let's flip it, transform, flip, vertical, and then rotate this sucker. Okay, and then I just need to make sure that yeah, that looks correct. Let me merge that down. Also, the grip looks pretty short. Let me also fiddle with that a little bit. Excuse me. I am a little under the weather today, so that's why I sound very congested. Is because I am, and it's hard for me to breathe. Also, let me narrow up the grip just a little bit. Cool. I think it's a good shape. Also, if you follow me on Twitter at Joshua Skelly, I also teased out um, a cursed sword. Let me show you that. So it's kind of a similar shape, but maybe not. It's this one over here, which I think looks pretty interesting. I'm thinking maybe of doing something with that. I'm not sure if it's going to be part of Delver proper or it's going to be another mod. It might just be another. It might just be a part of Delver proper. I think since we have support for unique items, I think it could be a cool unique item. Yeah, and hey, don't worry about Photoshop. I use I use Photoshop. And Pixel Edit are my two go-tos. Also, GraphicScale isn't very much. Also, there's a program called GraphX2, um, which is free and it's a very decent, a very good pixel art program. The only thing about it is it's modeled after old like DOS-based pixel art programs, so the interface takes some getting used to. But it is also very functional and very free. Again, I'm all about tools don't make a good artist. All tools really do is they can make certain tasks easier for the artist, you know. So don't get hung up on that. Use what works for you. I'm thinking this should probably be a steel blade. So let me copy this so I can get the correct colors. And then just kind of paste it in here as a swatch off to the side. And I'll just call it steel colors. There we go. So what features does Photoshop have that Pixel Edit doesn't have for pixel art? Nothing pixel art specific, but it does have polygon selection. So other things too. For example, I just like the selection tools. Like it's really easy for me to make, like say, if I want to colorize something. Let me get this. I can use the wand and I can make a selection, save that, and I can bring up the hue saturation. I can actually play with the color. I mean, you can do something similar, um, I guess, with changing the palette, but that forces you to change all the colors. Um, yeah, I just like some of the color manipulation tools, and also I'm just super comfortable in Photoshop. I wouldn't say it has anything that I can't live without, you know. And here I'm just filling in the color for the selective outlining, sometimes called sellout, SELOUT, which is short for selective outlining. And I'm going to kind of try to ballpark where the cross guard should be. There we go. That looks right-ish. Some odd reason it looks different. Did I mess up? How did I? One side is different than the other. Is that right? Weird. Let me try that again. So quickly go back to my polygonal lasso, and let me just select this half and delete it. And then let me duplicate this half. Edit, transform horizontal. Just rotate that into position. Is Photoshop goofing up the rotation? That looks correct. That looks symmetric. Weird. Let's try that again. Yeah, and it also it does take a little bit of effort to set Photoshop up correctly to do proper pixel art. There are a few things you have to I guess be aware of so that it doesn't do aliasing and stuff like that for you. Actually, I prefer light themes, to be honest. I just, oh, does Photoshop have a light theme? I didn't even know. Yeah, I don't know. I just assume that Photoshop is dark. But yeah, I actually, all my themes tend to be light. Um, so again, I'm trying to make this a very, the sword should be functional for the most part and not super ornate. Let me break up this selective outlining on the edge a little bit. Just changing this color from that kind of a dark brown to a blue. Yeah, no biggie. I mean, if I haven't changed it now, I mean, it obviously doesn't bother me enough to dig around and change it. Excuse me. Again, a little congested today, folks. Sorry if I sound a little a little gravelly. Curious. Oh goodness. Yeah, I guess it's looking okay. Not super in love with it, but it's okay. Okay. Let me see. I almost want to feel like I should make that just a touch bigger. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, the handle should be leather. I've used that kind of brownish color for a lot of the leathers. Um, uh, so I guess that's a good thing. Um, no. And again, this is just me kind of noodling around with pixel art, trying to find stuff I like. And I may not like it, I may throw it away. So uh, I try not to get too attached to the stuff I work on. Um, let me just add a new layer in real quick and see what this crossguard would look like if it was rendered as steel. Again, it might be boring, so that's I might want to add a contrasting color just to add some visual interest. It looks like I goofed up something there. Give me a second. Yep, I did. That's with my shift. There we go. So Seahawk Blue says, what if you tried a sort of bar-shaped pommel to mirror the crossguard? Oh, yeah, that's interesting actually. And it would certainly be different than what I have. Let me, yeah, let me just merge this down and let me start tidying this up and see what that looks like. Because I think it might make at least a slightly more unique shape, which is always important. It's always important that that like the shape or the silhouette of the thing be easily identifiable, just so players can easily pick out what they're looking at. Um, so I think Seahawk Blue is suggesting something like this. Let me just take a stab at it. Which is not bad. Yeah, I like it. Let me make a lasso selection because I want to extend the grip now. Unfortunately, I gave myself a little bit of room to work with, so this will max out my pixel usage here. That might be a little too long, but let's just see where it takes us. I almost want to, I almost want to try. Oh, sorry, Shadox. I guess you're the one who suggested that. Your names are the same color, so it's confusing me. That might be too thick. Let me try just doing something like this. Maybe the other direction. I want the top edge to be a little bit more sharp. Yeah, I think that works out okay. And then I could do something similar down here. Cool. And let's do something like add a highlight. Maybe a little bit of an underlay. Maybe I need to take the crossguard down a touch. Let me try that. So I'm just thinking of just a very, yeah, I mean, I guess it is kind of like a Viking style sword. Again, I'm just thinking something utilitarian. Because if you have played Delver, even if you are trying to play a mage character, you do have to use melee every once in a while. Um, so maybe this reflects that kind of understanding that magic doesn't solve all your problems. Sometimes you just need a big stick to thump stuff with. Pardon me. Okay, I kind of digging where this is headed. I think the blade needs work though. It just doesn't look. It might need a little bit more volume to it. Let me just go through real quick and just uh, broaden it out a little bit. And again, apologies for my voice. I'm sure I sound awful. um, I just am a little under the weather. Go back through. Maybe, maybe it's because I'm trying to change the shape too gradually. Um, Let me do something like and have this taper more towards the end. Yeah, that might be working out okay. See, blah blah blah. For some reason, I've always liked stripes of metal perpendicular to the crossguard and hilts. I guess the one thing I'm trying to avoid is like um, I'm I'm kind of mindfully trying to make sure that Delver isn't high fantasy, even though it kind of is. I like to think of Delver as semi-low fantasy, if that makes sense to folks. Yeah, I'm thinking that's looking okay. Let me even out. Um, Now that I've broken the symmetry on the blade, let me just fix that real quick. So let me just snag this half of the blade and duplicate it, and we fill it in with this, and then edit, transform, flip horizontal, and then rotate it, and then slide it into place, which I think that's correct. Sometimes Photoshop is doing funky stuff with my um, oh yeah, because I did remove a bit. So let me on this one just real quickly. Let's kind of delete this a little bit so I have room for that. There we go. I think that's correct. Let me just clean. Oh no, wrong layer. Do that. Oh, okay. Then let me merge that down and then go through and fix up the blade. And I think this is actually starting to look like a better shape, maybe. Hey, Part-Time Gap. Um, I guess for me, it's good morning. I'm streaming a little bit earlier than usual because I have a, a little kid function to go to today. So push this up so I could be there for my son. Okay, let me do that. Though this squared off isn't the worst thing. Meh. I'll just I'll not mess with it. That little bit of AA is not working for me. What about something like that? Just trying to make that transition a little bit lighter. Maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Okay, fix that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's looking a little bit better. If I ever did that, does that look better or does that look weird? Looks weird. I like the squarishness of it. Okay. Um, yeah, so that's kind of like the I guess the nice clean version of it. So maybe you want to maybe add a little bit of rust to it to make it look like it's old. This shouldn't affect the actual item quality of it. I just want to make it look like it's old. So Google image search rusted sword. If I spell sword correctly, just kind of get a hint of where the rust should fall. Interesting. It usually develops little pock marks along the blade. Huh. Okay. Um, Ooh, there's some really rusty swords out there. Yeah, so I guess kind of down the center of the blade, and the edges still, assuming is used occasionally, would still stay relatively shiny. Okay, let's take a stab at that. So I need browns and oranges to do rust. Dr. Kegel says, "Oh, you just got achievements." Yeah, no. So for those of you joining a little bit later, hi, I'm Joshua. We're about 1 hour into my regular Sunday Delver development stream. This is a stream where I work on my game Delver. So here we are. Welcome. And we recently pushed out an update recently, I think the day before Christmas. So in December, we pushed out the last update, which added a bunch of functionality to wands and arrows and effects. And I think it was a pretty good update. I mean, there are still wrinkles to work out there, but I think we're making good changes. This coming update, we're shooting for a March release. We'll see how it goes. I'm also functioning as the project planner or the project manager, which is I can do. I'm not super great at it, but I can do it, so I'm doing it. So I'm trying to shoot for a March release. We'll see if we hit it. I'll try to keep it scope small. So we're planning on Steam Workshop support, uh, and I guess because we found a nice library to give us like full Steam integration. A side effect of that is us having achievements, which is nice. And Chad is kind of lighting that stuff up as he comes across it, which is very exciting. So let me see if I have any browns or oranges that would be good for rust. And actually, a wood color might not be bad because it already has the oranges in it. Um, yeah, let me just see if I can do something like that. So new layer. Let's just get a big brush and not worry about it too much. And this is kind of a rusty color, like that. Let's go with our eraser and kind of chip away. Um, Again, if I this is not pixel art, but if I change the layer mode, try to see if that. I think, yeah, I think I still need to keep the highlights and stuff underneath. I just need to change that color, which is fine by me. So let's try this. This might be weird, but let's throw that away. Let's select um, just the blade for now. Okay, yep. And I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to use my my wand tool. I'm just going to, let me do it the other way around, just start with the highlight. I'm going to just basically put the wood, replace the steel palette with the wood palette and see how that goes. Okay, and if I add a layer mask to that, and if I start chipping away at the mask, can I create something that looks interesting? Or this is just a quick experiment to see if this is actually going to work or not. defaults. There we go. Because I don't want the rust to seem too regular. And here I just have I threw a mask on top so I can get, so I can have one palette show through and kind of hide the other. Weird, is it not? For some reason, it doesn't seem to be. Uh, cool. Hey, if you're leaving, bye Seahawk Blue. Um, I'm glad you like the stuff I'm working on. Yeah. So just kind of looking at pictures of real rusted swords. Yeah, it's the if the edges are still used, they tend not to rust. Um, oh, this is not a real. This is a LARP weapon, not a real weapon. Yeah, unfortunately, the real weapons when they tend to rust, it's because they've been not used for a very long time, and they really just rust away. Hmm. Just not quite sure how I feel about that, you know. Maybe if I threw some AA on top of that, what would that look like? So let me. Some sort of light desaturated green, I think, would be the correct AA color. Let me play around. Also, let me throw on top a hue saturation, the saturation turned all the way down so I can make sure that my values are correct. So let me go back to this AA layer, and I need to pull the lightness up because I'm trying to make AA between these two values. So okay, let's turn that off, and then let me play around with the hue to find a more appropriate color. This is kind of a grayish color. I think it works okay. Let me poke around with adding some more of this, see if I like it, or if it's the worst thing. That's another suggestion too. I could use the iron color as rust. Yeah, let me do that same treatment real quick. So again, down here, let's just go to my normal lasso. I don't need a polygonal lasso. I can just do a normal lasso. Make this selection. Grab that pixel, duplicate, and then real quick, just switch over the colors. And actually, the robe has the same colors as the iron. It's just how I shade it changes what the material kind of feels like. But I don't know if it has as many, it might not have as many, yeah, so this needs to be, I didn't use the high spec color there. still think I don't think I have enough shades actually. Let me take a peek. So for the blue I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for this one I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have the same number. That's weird. Let me see what's going on here. So let's just do this. Let's do that. Then let's do that. I think that's correct. Yeah, sorry if you can hear my son. He's sick and he's having a rough day. Okay, so let's see if I can also just do something similar here. Where add layer mask. Can I paste the mask? No. Well, not quite what I wanted to do. I want to paste it there. Oh well, not a big deal. I can just repaint a mask real quick. If I select the darn mask. Kirby says that I'd say rust is something that more expands from points, the spots that are not cleaned the best. Yep. And here I can chip away more. Oh, sorry. Again, wrong mask. Joshua, stay focused. So kind of push that even further back. Brush. And I don't know why I just zoomed in there. Yeah, I still think I need the browns and the oranges. The iron color just doesn't seem to read as well. I just need to find some good. I think I just need to find some good AA colors to make it work. To make it read as here. I think I have some non-black or white pixels. So let me just go image adjustments, contrast, and just turn contrast all the way up. Okay. Welcome back, Seahawk Blue. I'll go here and just paint some more rust color, I think. I think that's working okay. Let me add a new layer, and then over here, do something similar. Start with this color, and then find the correct AA for it. So first off, I will switch over to turn on my desaturate layer, and then I will make sure the value is correct, because I want it to be roughly an appropriate value. So what I'm trying to do is find a value that is between this dark and this light. So if I let me make my layer palette a little bit bigger. Yeah, so this dark and that light is what I'm shooting for. So I need to turn the brightness maybe there, maybe. It also depends on the color too. Like you can't just go off pure value. Sometimes you have to fiddle with the actual color too. So uh, maybe change the hue a bit. Sat, no sat, sat, no sat. Turn the sat down. Touch the darkness a little bit. Sat up again. I don't know. It's always me splitting hairs. Um, cool. Thanks, True Shadows, for hanging out. It's always nice to see folks come back. Um, I appreciate it. Let me see. Yeah, I was the person at the G2 event in Seattle showing Delver. That's me. Yeah, so right now I'm working on a small I'm thinking of it as a character pack, but like it would be a small like mod that you could opt in for Delver that would tell the story of this gray wizard and kind of how why he went to the dungeon in Delver and why he died. And you could add it in to Delver, and it would give you his gear and also tell you a little bit of his story, which I think could be interesting. If this is an interesting idea, let me know. If not, also let me know. Feedback is always good. So Nogri says they think if it was iron, that would make more sense. Let me just delete this layer mask. Um, have blue somewhere. Yeah, here in this layer. Let me just erase that. Maybe. Steel also rusts too. It just rusts in a different way. That's my rust layer. This is the iron layer. I don't know. I think both are equally valid. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what his story is. I just thought it'd be interesting to have kind of some kind of maybe named characters that you could add into Delver into the mix to learn about. And also, hopefully, this provides a kind of a template for folks to make up their own characters to put in the dungeon. So when we finally get mod support on, if people wanted to kind of latch onto this idea, that would be cool. Let me add a little bit of. Um, should also probably rust the other parts too, just a little. Just a little. Okay. So this is okay. Let me just merge this all down. Apply. So we just have the rust layer, and then we have the nice clean sword underneath. And I might be overdoing it with the rust. I can always back that off a little bit. Maybe add a slight highlight to the edge. Yeah. Yeah, no. So this would be something that we just open up to the entire mod community. So yeah, I'll let you guys know when the mod support comes online. I'll try to provide a good template for folks to use. Yeah, that'd be cool if you guys wanted to make little characters uh, that went adventuring into the dungeon and died and left their gear behind for other people to use. That would be, I think that'd be a cool way to do like community storytelling. And I think um, it also lets you folks do cool stuff, which I'm always excited to see. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, you were wearing a Marine Corps hoodie, right? And I think it was you and your father were there. If I remember, yeah. Yep, totally remember you. Cool. Thanks for stopping by the stream. How are things, man? Another thing I can do is if you control click a layer, you can make a selection, and then what I can do is I can now I can only paint within that selection. So, like it helps me stay within the lines. Um, and what might be even more interesting is if I go to here, go to wand, contiguous, and then only select this dark bit on let's say the pommel and the crossguard, and then I can hide that. And then back here in the rust layer, I can just paint in those areas because that's kind of what I want to constrain the rusty bits to. Um, there we go. And it seems to be working out okay-ish. Nice. Ba, 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 ba. Cool. Yeah, maybe if I dial back some of this AA, it might be too much. Let me try removing some of that. It might be too extreme. Who knows? Let me undo my selection there so I can actually paint again. And I'm just going to try not to focus too much on this big picture, but look at the little picture and see. I'm really trying to see how each pixel changes the shape of the rust. And I want to make it a little bit sharper. I'd only use the AA where I absolutely need it. I do like how that kind of just the one little spot has a little tiny bit. So let me just add that in as a happy little accident. I think works. I think we're getting to a good place. I think I'm liking how this is shaping up. No worries. Yeah, no. It's cool that you guys remember me. Yeah, that's the real challenge with making small anything really is um, getting out and in front of people and showing them your product, and then actually having them remember it afterwards is so hard. Like by trade, I'm an engineer, and that's just something you don't learn in school. They don't like I don't know like I guess it's kind of assumed that engineers are kind of kept locked away from customers, and they just toil on our little arcane stuff, and then you have like salespeople that go out and sell it, which for larger companies, that model totally works. But when you are, when like I am basically like half of the company, like um, we need to just figure out all these different roles, you know, and it's been exciting and it's been fun, but it's been like um, I always seem to learn by doing things the hard way. Um, and that's okay, I guess. Yeah, it just, I don't know. I guess I'm the kind of person that a lot of times I just, for better or for worse, will just jump in and start doing stuff and figure out the details later, which can be good and it can be not so great. Um, and just a little tiny highlight to the edge of the weapon just to make it look like it's kind of sharp in places. Do I like that? That's making it a little too busy. Let me dial that back. Okay, let me add this to maybe add some of this light color back to the tip, maybe to imply that it still is used for thrusting. Um, cool. A little bit. Poor guy. Yeah, I think this is getting to a cool place. It's very kind of you to say. It looks like Siak Blue saying that remember the game for 10,000 years or 100,000 years. No, that's kind of you to say. Yeah, no, we're just plugging away trying to make the best thing I can make. Okay, so I think I've noodled with this sword enough. Let me just go ahead and merge down all these layers. Let me delete the ones that are invisible. Just merge this stuff down, and then I have a rusty academy sword, I suppose, for this guy to use. Maybe just I'm gonna add a tiny little embellishment. Sometimes I'm not sure what it's called, but on the grip, swords will have like this little tiny ring. If you folks, I'm sure you folks know the proper name, but if you could let me know, that would be cool. Yeah, sometimes they have this little bit right here. I'm not sure what it's called. Um, or maybe I should put it. Does it live closer up to the top? Is that the more appropriate place for it to be? Is it so your finger can find the correct spot to grip it? I'm not sure. Okay. Maybe I over rusted some parts. Let me just try to dial that back a touch here and there. Um, yeah, I might have to leave this unrusted because I don't think it'll read well if it is. So I'm just gonna try to unrust a little bit of this so it's not so rusty. So I do want to imply that it does see usage, right? Like occasionally he does have to like chop people, so try to keep that in there. I don't think this little part here is working super great. Um, just fill that in and then chip away at it. Yeah, that's the nice thing about pixel art is when you view it, and also in game too, you see most of the stuff a little bit further away and a little bit smaller, and the pixels kind of work together to kind of help make it look a little bit more not real, but like like they're less noticeable and they kind of blend together, which is cool. There we go. Okay, let me save this. Let me delete that so I can save it as a. There we go. That's cool. Um, what else should this guy have? Because I think let me check something real quick. But ba, 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 ba. Yeah. So I think I'll do some more pixels for about 15 minutes, and then I want to show. It looks like a user Codrake sent me some stuff, and I want to show off what they've been working on. Yeah, no, I definitely think Retro Novo suggested a ring, and I think a ring is a good suggestion. Um, so I'm trying to make like basically like a little item set um, that almost you could wear yourself if you to kind of be that character, even though you like it doesn't really change your stats as much. But um, it would be kind of a fun little challenge to see if you could collect all of this person's gear. Um, Unfortunately, the way the RNG works, you probably won't be able to, but I think finding little bits and pieces of his stuff will be fun. I need to work out the details whether this is all like either like unique or because I don't want to make it overpowered. I want to make it more interesting than like game breaking. Yeah, so a ring could be cool. What else? I was thinking maybe a left hand item that somehow boosts magic a little bit might be cool. Might be really useful to those of you who play as mages. Um, what else? Um, a spell tome. Yeah. See that's another thing is because we already have books in the game and books are junk. Like I'd either need to remove the books or figure out something to make it look different. Yeah, people keep suggesting books or grimoires. Um, let me see. Uh, yeah, I think a ring would be cool. Um, yeah, and our rings actually, if you look at the rings that exist in Delver, they're kind of boring to be honest with you. That's my fault. Yeah, so the ring and the amulets, they all look like this. And what I might do, so it may or may not be apparent, but for Delver, you can specify different images for the item. So, like if you noticed, if you ever found a shield in Delver, the shields have a front and a back. or a front and a back, right? And how we do this is um, this top row. These are all the images that are shown. This is the default image, so this is shown by default. And then when you equip it, this one is shown, which is how we do the front and back facing for shields. So you can do that for any item actually. It just makes more work. I think you can also specify out a special. I think you can do one just for the inventory, which actually might be cool for rings. That they look like maybe they look like this on the ground, but when you pick them up, you get a nicely detailed image for the inventory. Okay, so Retronovo said sent you a link to the Dropbox. Yeah, I'll take a look. Generally, I like you guys to send this stuff to me in advance so I can have it prepared. But I'll go take a look at it since I told Kodrak I'd look at it. So Kirby, the way scrolls are implemented, you can't do that. Maybe I don't know. I think scrolls just do a spell, which could be okay. Um, a skull lantern for the hand. Ooh, a skull lantern could be cool. Um, I could certainly add yeah, particle effects are something I could add to it too. Because also I'd like this to kind of serve as an example, a more in-depth example mod. Like if you like the more traditional example mod that we have. Let me see if I can find it. Close it out for now. Let me look at Steam. Let me go over here, see if I can find where do my Delver. I'm trying to figure out, like I'm trying to show up, like we have a very basic, uh, I'll not mess with it. I don't want to waste you guys' time, but we do have the basic, there's a learn to mod Delver, I think guide that Chad wrote, or at least a forum thread, and we put that out there on the mod, on the workshop as something you can download and play with. But I'm trying to make something a little bit more sophisticated with this set, which I think would be cool, and hopefully provide a good template for the community to replicate. Um, so for this character, maybe I'm not sure. Like I'm thinking more of him as he was a mage that went to the Mage Academy, and he's kind of estranged from the academy. He's kind of been like this, kind of like a Radagast character, where he's kind of been doing his own thing out in the wild. So that's why I'm trying to keep all of his colors kind of like earthy and neutral, because I imagine like mages from the actual academy are a little bit more, I guess, fancy. Like they would have like kind of a little bit more brightly colored, a little bit more nice stuff. Where this guy's a little bit more humble. So maybe skulls would make sense. Let me pop over to the code real quick and make sure that for items I can do a inventory only texture. So let's just pop into the code and look at. Don't want to move anything. Items. I think item, the base class. There we go. Let's look for. Yeah, there's an inventory texture, so it's kind of cool that we can have a specific texture for an item when it's in the inventory. So I think I might try to do something fancy with a ring for that. So let's just make a ring. Um, and generally, I think a lot of RPGs, like especially if I'm thinking of Dark Souls, but also other RPGs too, they always typically show uh, a ring kind of like you have an angle like this. You add a little bit of depth to the ring. So I'm just freewheeling here. Um, add a lighter color. Just kind of shown in this perspective. Um, and they generally also have some sort of like cool thing on top, like it's a cool red color, right? Like I'm a fire ring, right? or something like that should work. I just haven't used this before because I thought it would look weird if that was laying on the ground. But I think uh, in your inventory, I think makes way more sense because like everything is scaled the same size as far as items go. So I think it makes better sense inside your inventory, and maybe this could be a pattern going forward for rings. Because yeah, it'd be cool to have some unique rings and not just because right now our rings are just kind of like our weapons where they just get random enchant. And those are fine. They're just kind of what is the word I'm thinking? They're kind of vanilla. They're not super flavorful. So maybe having some unique rings would be really kind of cool. Yeah, I think that could work. So let me throw away. Let me not worry so much about coloring just yet as trying to get the shape and the proportions right, because this is all jacked up. Okay. Yeah, even let's just dial it back even further. Let's just go back to pure silhouette and using the brush and the eraser. Let's just make a shape that reads well as a ring. And I might, I guess I don't want to use up all the texture space for this because I want to leave room that if you want to put like a fancy stone on top of it, it's certainly something that can be done, and it doesn't like kind of push the bounds of like running out of space too much. Let me see. Elebit says, question, tried the last version of Delver where it said notes that items have durability, but how do I know? Because I did not see a health indicator on the items. No, so the durability, um, so when you find items in the dungeon, they are of either normal quality, fine or excellent, and that's going up, or they are normal, worn and broken. So right now you just have to look at the name of the item. I have some changes in the update that's coming out soon or in March, where items when they break they actually have a different texture. So if you look at this one here, this top row has all the broken textures for the item. At least that way you can tell when it's broken, and the stats go way down on an item when it's broken. Um, and I still need to hook up a particle effect and a sound effect. But yeah, so that way we don't really expose the durability to the players. I'm not sure if we should or if we shouldn't. It's just bear in mind that your items don't last forever and you have to keep an eye on them. Yeah, I don't know if rings actually. I don't think we can actually have them cast spells. I think they're just kind of a passive thing. It's certainly something to think about, though. This looks off center. Let me try to make one side of this. I think. Yeah, it just looks like I have it. Let me let me try to focus on just one side, making it look good. Then I will fix the other side. Hmm. Sorry, lots. Today is a lot of Joshua squinting and fiddling around with pixels. So hopefully that's something you folks don't mind watching. That pushes that out too much. So let me try. Let's go back to our polygonal lasso. And let me just select that half. Delete. And let's just grab this half, duplicate, and do the old flip and rotate. position it. I think that looks all right. Let me merge layer down, clean up the little gap in the middle. Let me try expanding this out just 1 pixel this direction. Maybe also I need to thicken this up a little bit because I should probably imply that the ring is like a band maybe, and not like a, I don't know. I don't know. I think that was working okay. 3, 4, 3. Somehow I goofed this up. Let me just step back to my history here. Okay, so let me real quick. I'm just going to add another color just to see how, if I added like a band, what it would look like. So I'm thinking this should kind of turn this way. Then this should be kind of that. So really I need to make it more cylindrical. So maybe square this off a bit, square that up a bit. There we go. I think that's starting to get more where I want it to be. Hey Chris, yeah, sorry. Today I started early because I have a little function to go to with my son. So I started at 10 o'clock. Sorry for not letting folks know earlier. So Flying Fish 45 says I can pull an Earthbound, the badges, so if you have a fire ring, then you're hit with fire. So Delver has no concept of elemental-based damage. So that would be a whole new system we'd have to add in. So I'm going to have to say um, like right now we're kind of trying not to add new systems because that equates a lot of work, not only making the system but also trying to balance it with existing systems. I'm not saying that we won't do it. I'm just saying right now um, I, I'm trying to get the project done, so I'm trying to favor um, uh, doing work that gets us closer to being done. Yeah, and I will apologize. My wife has pointed out to me that um, I guess it's a bad habit of mine that when people suggest stuff, I kind of instantly say no, which I apologize for. It's not if I do that, it's not because I'm dismissing the thing out of hand. Um, it's more um, you suggested something I probably haven't thought of, and I'm not sure how I haven't had time to process it yet, so I just typically say no because I don't want to commit to something I can't do, but it drives her crazy. Um, so again, apologies if I always say something like, uh, if I seem like I shoot down your suggestions. Um, to be honest, a lot of your suggestions sit like in the back of my brain and they rattle around all together. And a lot of stuff that you suggest does come out in some shape or form. It might not be the form you suggested it in, but certainly you guys do. I listen to your input and I try uh, to do what I can to address the issues. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm working on. So I'll do a quick little recap and then we'll go on to showing off the mod that I just got sent. So for the next update, we are adding Steam Workshop support, which is really cool. Chad is working on lighting that up. We have right now we have a mod that only Chad and I can see, which is our little learn how to mod example. But I thought it would be cool to have like a character pack mod, and I'm hoping the community bites onto this because I remember when I was younger, for example, there was a game Warhammer Quest, which was similar to Hero Quest, but you could buy character expansions, which would allow you to play as a different character. And here I'm thinking these little character packs add the gear for some character who has died in the dungeon. So you can kind of figure out what they were about by their gear and maybe a little bit of storytelling. Um, so I'm trying to make this Gray Wizard character mod for Delver. So when we light up the Steam Workshop feature, we have a basic example and a little bit more in-depth example of what you can do with the Delver engine. And this is also maybe addressing some of the people who want to play as more of a mage-like character. I'm trying to add some stuff in there for them. Um, also, I guess this is I announced it earlier, but I'll say it again. As part of our work towards um, workshop integration, I've also been working on a separate feature branch that allows us, or it enables UTF-8 support, so that we can support multiple languages. And we're trying to get this also lined up with the Steam Workshop support as well, so players can make their own language packs for Delver. Um, I have a very good friend who lives here in Seattle who is a native French speaker, and I'm going to work with him. And luckily, he's also a developer, so he understands a lot of the process of this. But I'm going to work with him to get a good example of what a language pack would look like. So you could play Delver in French, and I'm trying to make sure that all the necessary stuff for modders to want to make language packs is in place. Hopefully, again, when this update lands. So the update will be mostly about Steam Workshop with some example mods. Um, yeah, and I'm really excited about this. Like, I think like to me, it's very important that people can play games in their native language, and I want to do as much as I can to enable that. Kirby says the Ring of the Princess is a ring that grants both power and protection. Oh, yeah. Um, uh, yeah, and because another thing, Chris, is I guess uh, Delver items can have a separate image for inventory. So I'm going to make a nice fancy ring image for the inventory. But when it's on the ground, it looks like a normal ring, but when you pick it up, it's different. So that's the thinking there. Suchin22 says, how many sales of Delvers hold an Android? I have no idea. I'm not privy to that information. Chad handles um, uh, pretty much all the business stuff, and I just I handle all the arts, and I pulled on community management, and I pulled on project management, just really focusing. Where's this? Where's my last conversation? It was from Retro. There we go. Please don't give me a virus. Download. Yeah, you can certainly do that, Aobit. You can do whatever you want. You can make with mods, there's no real limitation, so you can make a lantern that full brights the entire world. You can make weapons that totally break the game. It's up to you. Hopefully, I think as players of Delver, I think you folks have a pretty good idea of what makes good content, and I'm really curious to see what you'd make. But yeah, you could certainly make game breaking stuff. That's something I don't really want to pull back from. So here, something I've noticed is it looks like with this mod, they've included blah, 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 all the assets from Delver. And this is something you don't typically want to do unless you're replacing all the assets. For mods, you only want to include just the files that you've changed. Okay, so I guess I'll show you currently. If you want to play with mods right now in Delver, so you have to right click, you can go to Properties, Local Files, Browse Local Files, and that'll pull up the directory where they live. And I've gone ahead and I've created a mods directory. So you need to create a mods directory. And then in here I have Trap Zone, and this one is Ruins of the So we just copy this, Ruins of the Mariah. So we copy that, make a new folder, paste that in there, and then I don't know what is theirs and what's mine, so I'm just going to copy over all the content. Okay. So you're saying, so it looks like Retro Nova says they've defined new items. So let me pop open, say, Sublime Text. Put that over there. Put that there. Let me close out all this junk. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, so items.dat. Oh, and again too, have you have you defined new items in here? Um, because it looks like these are all the. So another thing too is when you create your own mod, you don't have to don't redefine all of the Delver. Um, you turn word off. You don't redefine all the Delver items. Um, only define the items that you need. Oh, they're meaning items.png. Oh, it looks like they're adding some stuff down here. It looks like a club and a bone and a spear. Looks like, and it looks like some sort of spear or arrow thing there, and a banana. And these are either stabs or wands. That's cool. Um, again, um, I guess I guess it's better practice to create your own sprite sheet and create your own sprite sheet definition than to build off of the existing Delver stuff, just so our changes don't impact you. Okay, and they say go to, it's a custom dungeon. So let me, in Delver, you can just fire up delvedit.jar. And let me see, mods, ruins of the Mariah. You say the new stuff is in ruins? Also, maybe is it? Did you include a? I didn't see. Sometimes with a mod, it's nice to include a text file just to kind of let folks know the changes and how to play them. So Iobit says, is there an example of a single item mod in the workshop as the template? Yeah. So there's already one out there in the mod forum. Let me pull that up. Community discussions. Let me see. Modding. Um, it's pinned somewhere, or is it a guide? Do we have guides? Somewhere Chad created a guide, and right now I'm kind of struggling to figure out where it lives. Oh yeah, so if delvergame.com/mods, and there is a I guess there is a learn to mod zip file. So that's kind of what we're basing that off of. It will be just a simple single file mod. So yeah, so that will be a little bit easier for folks to jump in on. So yeah, I want one one mod that is just a single weapon and it's easy to understand, and then I want one mod that showcases more of the features that you can actually do. And then going back to here, I'm trying to figure out on Retro Nuva, trying to figure out levels. No, generator ruins. What should I load to see your actual mod? Yeah, this is why I prefer to do stuff ahead of time before the stream, so I can just kind of quickly jump into it. Another thing, Aobit, you have to be careful. Not to be careful, but Delver can only handle so many dynamic lights. So if you create too many lanterns, for example, like I think uh, uh, I was chatting with another modder, Nickman, and they had a bunch of lanterns at a level, and they noticed that when they fired the cold wand, the lanterns would go out, and that's because Delver will only have um, a certain number of dynamic lights, and we choose the ones that are closest to you. So if you have too many dynamic lights, they will turn on and off again, and it looks bad. So just try to keep that in mind. Prototype Gap says the enchant armor scrolls are buggy. Interesting. I'll take a look at that. Oh, oh, cool. Looks like they have some custom textures. That's nice. I'm digging that. So this looks like it uses the palette from the old sewers. Um, yeah, this is cool. This actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Shadow of the Colossus, actually, with their kind of cool temple, um, like the palette and the architecture style. Yeah, I like it. I like this is very cool where you have these heads. Yeah, this is good work. And there's a lever here that does something. Ooh, secret. Nice. This is, oh yeah, this is this is a long secret. Yep. What you could do is, I know Nickman has been doing some interesting things where, like for here, you can add, for example, you can click here and you could add entity, add a basic, you could add a sprite, and then on the sprite, you can pick the texture and you can pick like the um, the cobweb texture, and then that way you can kind of make like a spooky hallway back here, which could be nice, right? You can kind of imply that it's not really used very often. Um, you can just kind of create a bunch of these, you know. Um, but these are character or these are camera facing sprites. I think you can also do entity basic. There's one that's not. What is it? Sprite decal, I think. I think that's what I'm thinking of. So Sprite decal, and it's on this. I think it's just called Sprite. That, and this one does not face the camera, but it's still visible on both sides. So if you want to like have some very specifically positioned sprites, this is how you can do it. So you can drag it there, then rotate, and then kind of position this one like up in the corner. And that way it always stays kind of at that angle, which is useful for certain things. Or if you want it to always face the camera, that's useful for other things. Yeah, just that's why we add a lot of these little like the moss and the grass and stuff, just to kind of dress up and add life. And I think that's something that you can certainly do um, to, um, to breathe life into your level. But I like where you're going. I like the kind of sense of scale, and I like the detail you've been putting into it. I think it's cool. And then I guess the only other suggestion I would have is right now it's all very monochrome. Maybe you consider putting in some contrasting color just to add some variety to it. And then they said they have corners. Nice. Yeah, again, I love the sense of scale you have with this. Ooh, the lava behind there is very cool. And so I'm not sure what's going on here with these lights coming in and out. Oh yeah, so again, so that's exactly what I was talking about. So these are dynamic lights, and see how you can see them turn on as I get close. If these lights are not moving, go ahead and make them ambient. Um, it's just so entity lights ambient, and they look. I mean, um, yeah, they're more performant and you shouldn't have any troubles. So if don't use these unless you're actually doing something like if you're doing, so if you want to do like flickers, you need dynamic for flickers. But otherwise, I would just keep them all ambient. Um, and yeah, it looks like two. Yeah, here and also on the ambient, you have this nice color picker for the lights. Um, and you can hit L to toggle on the light preview on and off. So then you can kind of grab this and you can kind of like pick like what color you think works best. So like for torches, I normally choose like a kind of a yellowish orange. For light color, there is a scale you can look at to like light color also corresponds with light intensity. So it kind of goes from red to orange to yellow to like white and blue. There's kind of this kind of like the scale there. So something to keep in mind. Also, I like to add like reasons for light to be in places. So that's always just as simple as just like adding torches, right? You can just pop torches in, um, and that gives a reason. Yeah, you have some torches in there, so that adds reason why there's just light in places where light shouldn't be. Um, Another thing too is if you want just I think ambient or like the fog might be helpful too, and that is defined in um, if you go to the you can see if you look how the or how the ruins do it. It's undead here. Or is it in Dungeons Undead? Data, Dungeons Undead. You can look at how the fog start and fog end works for the ruins. You can pick maybe a cool fog color as well. Okay, so it is noon, and I do have like a hard deadline because I do have like we have to go to a class here for my son, so I'm gonna have to sign off. But thank you for sharing your mod; it's really cool. Please, if you want, I'm happy to provide feedback. Feel free to email me joshua.skeleton@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Joshua Skelly. You can follow me here on Twitch at Joshua Skelly. I love all the work you modders do. It is probably one of the best parts of working on this project is seeing the cool stuff you guys and gals and folks come up with. So feel free to send it my way. I will do my best to provide you feedback. Um, Let me think what else. I think I've plugged all my stuff. Again I want to thank everybody for supporting me both financially and supporting me by watching my stream and providing me feedback. I will see you next Sunday if I don't have time to do a bonus stream. Take care, and I will see you folks in a week.